On the line here, we have Brandon. He's looking to start a cleaning business. And Brandon, if you want to introduce yourself, tell us what you're currently working on and what you're looking to do.
Hi, my name is Brandon. I'm here in San Antonio, Texas, thinking about starting a cleaning company. I've watched a few of your videos online, and I was inspired to look into cleaning companies. Right now, I'm in school, pursuing a PhD, plus to being at the end of that process, also in the military. So I've always been excited by it and interested in business. I would like to look into getting started. Since I'm coming to the end of my PhD program, I have enough time to, put towards committing to a business.
Awesome. So what's your PhD in?
It's in counselor education and supervision.
Okay. So why are you choosing to start a business in a completely different field than what you're currently studying?
Well, so like I said, I've always, and I'm pretty sure just like anyone else, I consider myself to be an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always loved business since I was a kid. I just never put my mind and time into it in terms of education. So I wanted to focus on getting my education first, get grounded into that, and then start to venture out into different arenas in terms of business. I do imagine I see myself opening a private practice soon,
Okay.
which will be in the next year after I graduate. But I want to be able to focus primarily on opening different businesses, learning the process, the systems, what to do, what not to do as an employer, how to become successful, how to build money and wealth and all that type of stuff. So my end goal is to take that money and take it back to Louisiana, build different things to help the education system, healthcare system, things like that.
Okay. Well, those are some honorable goals. I definitely think anyone who can manage to, to have the discipline to get their PhD can definitely run a service type business. So I can definitely see you succeeding in any kind of service type business you want to start. So cleaning is definitely a great business. And yeah, no problem. And with that, so are you trying to open and basically hire people right away to do the work for you? Or are you willing to get in there, kind of get dirty and, do the work yourself as well?
I think I would rather hire. I don't mind doing the work myself, but I think that has been one of my weaknesses in the past, that I'm more of a worker than I am an employer. I would focus primarily on doing the work. I'll get down and do it myself. It takes away from the time that I would have learning how to actually run a business and make sure it's successful.
Mm-hmm. So do you have any savings or any money that you can invest in getting started?
I do have savings that I can invest. And it just, like I said, it depends on how much it costs to go ahead and get started. If it's something that I could get started at right away, I would love to. But if it's something I have to wait and save up even more for, then I guess I'll have to just wait and continue to educate myself.
The only reason I ask is because a cleaning business is very cheap to start. I mean, if you have a vehicle, you can basically start one for under like $1,000. But if you're hiring people, that adds a whole nother level of expense where you have to get them vehicles. You have to, think about margins and the fact that, if you're doing the cleanings yourself, you can probably make 50% profit. But if you're hiring people out, you're looking at probably more like 20, 25% if you're really running a lean operation. So in terms of like trying to rocket that growth without a ton of money to spend on, hiring people to do this, that, and the other up front, it'll make growth a little bit slower. Not that it's impossible, but, just so you're aware of that as well.
Okay. I guess like my number one thing was, like I seen your videos, and I've noticed every businessman or businesswoman that I've watched or heard about has always had that mentor, and I'm trying to find out if that's even a possibility.
Yeah. I mean, I'm open to help in any way possible. That's why I'm here. That's why I make the videos. So, there's just a million of those little things that that you come across that if you haven't run a business in the past, you're kind of like, what the heck do I do in this situation? So that's why I, started posting videos in the first place, because I was like, there's got to be thousands of other people just like me when I started out, and I was like, run around with a chicken with my head cut off. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, having to figure these things out, build systems, that kind of stuff. And luckily I enjoyed doing that, and I kind of enjoyed that struggle, but I realized that it could have been much easier. So I tend to try to make videos that I wish I could have watched, 5, 6, 7 years
Right.
ago. And so far it's been working, pretty well. And, obviously attracting people like yourself to watch the content. So as far as starting a business, is there any particular reasons why you're gravitating towards a cleaning business?
Well, I was having a conversation. There was a lady who came out to clean our house, and I had never even thought about having someone clean our house. But my wife chose to reach out to us and do it. We were just moving into a new house in San Antonio. And we were just sitting down talking about the cleaning business and the structure that she is under as an independent contractor. And she was just telling me everything about it. And like I said, me being the type of person that wants to get into the business, looking for a mentor that can teach me about how to run systems and everything like that. It's like, man, that sounds like something that isn't very difficult. And she was pretty much working for a company where the guy doesn't own any cleaning material, anything like that. He pretty much just holds the business name. And then he does independent contracting. Well, for a while now, for I think about the last year, I had been coming across your videos just because I was looking at business startups and just trying to learn base level education. And I remember watching your video. It was about a year and a half ago about a cleaning company. I watched about 30 minutes of the video, and I went on to the next one because I was just trying to continue to get my feet wet. And then from there, I said, well, let me go back and listen to exactly what he's saying. And I remember one of the videos that you talked about it costing, it was easier to hire people to work for the company opposed to having independent contractors. But I wanted to hear exactly what you're saying about it. So that's my story as to why I chose to go ahead and say, okay, well, I want to get a cleaning company.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, with the cleaning company, the thing I like the most about it, and I've said this a million times, is the fact that you get reoccurring clients. If you do a good job, those same people are going to want you to come back to their house, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, every 3 months, whatever it is, and you're just continually making money from those people. But as far as the contractor versus W-2 employee, you got to be really, really careful with that because both at the state level and at the federal level, they're really cracking down on the classification of that. And even if you do everything right and hire a contractor, you can still kind of get screwed over on that end. So things like, if you're hiring a contractor to do cleaning for you, it's a single person and all she's doing is cleaning for you, that person could later go and say, hey, I was a W-2 employee because I didn't work for anyone else. Like there's little nuances there that are really scary and kind of have repercussions if, something bad happens later on, which the way that the laws are going with that, they are favoring more and more and more that people can, claim that they're employees, not contractors. So that's something that really scares me on the contractor end because, yeah, it saves you, 10% on not having to either pay state taxes or, their employment taxes, workers' comp. But those costs, I think, are worth the cost because it's going to just potentially save a ton of heartache at the end, someone potentially trying to sue you or, anything like that.
Okay.
So that's my personal experience. I know that there's people who are perfectly successful and have gone a long time with contractors, but just from what I've learned, I wouldn't personally do it. I've hired contractors in the past for things, and some of them go fine, some of them have issues. So I'm just going to probably stay away from it in the future unless it's like a completely separate business entity. They're servicing other people as well. Then it's impossible for them to argue that they're an employee.
Okay, so you advocate more for having a W-2 worker.
Yeah, and I think W-2 also helps in building a brand because then that way you can really have oversight in exactly the processes they're doing, what they're wearing to the job, little customer service touches that they do. Then you can have more control over all that. And I think ultimately that builds a better business. And with a cleaning business too, you can charge enough to where you can afford to pay for that workers' comp and, payroll and taxes and things like that.
Okay.
So that's my personal experience.
I noticed when I was watching one of your videos, you talked about the startup cost, and I don't remember if you really went in depth or no, because I don't really have much notes about it, but you were saying you can really start it up for cheap. So I wanted to go over that with you.
Yeah. So you're just like curious on how exactly I would start one for cheap?
Yes, and how much it would, I mean, the expenses that would go into it, like the cleaning materials and all the type of stuff, and then if I'm going to hire someone.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, the cheapest way that you could start is exactly how Stacy is doing it. I don't know if you've seen any videos with her. How she started it is basically the cheapest way. She, has her own vehicle. She, slapped some stickers on there with her maid service information, bought some basic cleaning supplies, and went out and just started doing the cleanings herself. So from the very start, all she had to really spend to get started was like a vacuum was the most expensive thing, and that was like $250, and the rest of everything, some business cards, some basic supplies. I bet it was under $1,000 that it cost her to get started. And then after she had a couple jobs, she hired on her mom to help her so she could get some more jobs done in the day. And now we're kind of in the window where it's looking like she'll have to hire another person. So then she can have 3-person crews knocking out even more jobs in the day. And then the next step after that is when the real delegation comes in, because she's having enough money coming in the door where she can then hire out her crew lead position, give that route to someone, build up a new route, basically do that same thing. 3-4 times. Once you have three, 4 routes out, then you have enough revenue coming in to where you can be in a just managerial role and, an oversight role, possibly doing bids or spending more time on what exactly you want to do in the business.
Okay.
So that's the cheapest way to do it. If you had, 50, 75 grand to spend up front, I would probably hire out the cleaners right away, buy a decent vehicle, hire someone to do marketing 40 hours a week. And that's how I would try to rocket growth that way. But that's going to be hard still, because you're going to have to build those systems and processes on the fly. It's almost always better for someone's first business for it to be built a little bit slower, in my opinion, as frustrating as that is.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically how I would start it. You have any other quick questions before we go?
Yeah. So if I wanted to speak with you again, how do I set this up?
So you can just shoot me an email, maxmahershow@gmail.com. We can get something set up, and I'm happy to help in any way possible.
Okay. And how? And I noticed you had a payment email that you sent me. Do we do another 10 to 15 minute conversation, or would I have to set up a consulting time, or what do I choose from?
So if we want to do another update like this, we'd probably have to wait probably 6 months or so down the road just to do, a little update for the channel. If you want to hire me out to, consult you at whatever time frame you want, you can do that as well.
Okay. All right. And what about this $599 a month package that you have? What is that about?
So that's a new thing that I've been offering. Literally, I've only been doing it for about a month and a half. Basically, what it is you have my number. It's like unlimited texting during regular business hours. Any questions you might come across in the day, or if you want me to look at something, I'll take a look at it. I'll get you an answer as soon as I can. And then that way, it's more like you have me in your back pocket, just as things come across. The reason I formulated that way is because I know when I first started my moving company, there was a guy who had helped me out, and I'd be on a job and be like, okay, what should I do in this situation? And he'd be able to help me on the fly. So that was super valuable. So I figured that's definitely something that other people could use as well.
Okay. And my last question: do you know of any marketing companies that you would recommend?
Like to do marketing for you, or just ways to advertise your business?
Well, to do marketing and advertising for me.
I wouldn't hire a company to do it because they're going to charge you so much. I would start with just Thumbtack and building up reviews on Google My Business and a Yelp page. That's going to be the cheapest way to start. Otherwise, you're going to be spending easily 10 grand to hire some company to manage that for you. And I personally don't think that's worth it until you're a huge company.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, thanks for calling. Send me an email with an update or anything like that. And I hope to hear from you soon, Brandon.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye. So the consulting services that Brandon had mentioned during that video, that's something that I've just offered to people who reach out to me directly asking for consulting. I haven't advertised it in any way yet. Basically how it works is I have a couple options. The first option is totally free, 10 to 15 minute phone call, just like that with Brandon, where you can tell me your situation, whether you're trying to start a business, whether, whatever you're going through, and I'll answer the questions to the best of my ability and make some content out of it for YouTube. The second option is just hourly rate for consulting calls. It's $150 an hour for consulting calls on demand. We'll schedule something, and I'll help you out with your business. And the third option is that new one that I'd mentioned. It is $599 a month for a limited time. That probably will go up because I do have limited time in the day. And how that works is you get unlimited access to texting me any questions you might have for your business throughout the day. I'll respond back as soon as I can. And like I said, it basically allows me to be in your back pocket and help you really accelerate the growth of your business and answer any of those tricky questions as you're managing your business or your life or whatever you're going through. Because I personally know that it can get kind of lonely and a little bit scary while you're starting a business, and it's really easy to be unsure of yourself. So if I can be in a situation where I can help people be more sure of their decisions and get some more success, I think that's huge. So that's another thing that I'm offering. If that's something that you're interested in, you can shoot me an email at maxmahershow@gmail.com. Until next time, have a profitable day.